In the Sean Diddy Combs trial, his family and supporters may be celebrating the outcome, the verdict from the jury, but that joy was cut short this evening as the judge in the case denied Combs bond while he awaits sentencing. And Combs isn't out of the woods yet legally on other fronts. Dozens of alleged victims, both publicly named and anonymous, have filed civil accusations against him, some going back years. We're talking rape, abuse, sexual assault, harassment, and more. Combs has denied all those accusations, and many of the allegations have already spawned civil lawsuits. It's likely more are coming. A number of those accusers are being represented by our next guest. Joining me now is attorney Gloria Allred. Gloria, great to have you on the show.
Thank you for inviting me, Elizabeth.
One women's rights organization called today's verdict, quote, a stain on the criminal justice system, and said it was an indictment of a culture in which not believing women and victims of sexual assault remains endemic. Do you agree with that?
No, not particularly. I mean, I'm an officer of the court. I'm licensed to practice in New York and California and D.C. I don't criticize jury verdicts. I seek to respect jury verdicts. Whether or not, if I had been on jury, would I have come to a different conclusion? Maybe. I didn't hear all of the evidence that they did in the courtroom. Having said all that, look, he was convicted of at least 2 felonies. He is a convicted felon as of this moment. Correct, he was not convicted of RICO, Racketeering, Influence, Corrupt Organizations Act. He was not convicted, and he could have gotten life in prison for that. He was not convicted of sex trafficking. They would have had to find force, coercion, fraud.
Right.
I think that force was obvious from that CNN video that he was beating her and dragging Cassie. She's trying to get away from a freak-off. They dragged her back. So I don't know how anybody could say she consented to be dragged back to a freak-off. But I don't know what was going on in the jury's mind. I have no idea, and they found him not guilty on that. We'll see. Yes, he was denied bail today, and I'm very glad that he was, Elizabeth. I said actually prior to that decision by the court, a few minutes earlier on CNN, I said I would hope that he would be denied bail because I represent a number of women, 2 of which have filed civil lawsuits. It took a lot of courage for them to file it. There's been a lot of fear of retaliation, and they overcame that fear. They filed a lawsuit. In addition, I represented others who have not filed civil lawsuits, but who did speak to law enforcement and the prosecution in this case, some of whom were listed as potential witnesses, and the defense knew who they were. So it took a lot of, they had to overcome their fear to talk to law enforcement.
Right, but explicitly about, Gloria, explicitly about this, Cassie Ventura, her lawyer, wrote to the judge this afternoon saying she opposed Combs getting out pending a sentence, saying he actually posed a danger to her and other witnesses who testified against him. Were any of the victims you represent concerned that they were in danger?
Well, I think they have been concerned even before they spoke to law enforcement, and that was important. But they overcame their fear, they found their courage, and they did speak to law enforcement anyway because they felt it was the right thing to do.
And how will
even the court pointed out today that he admitted, that his defense attorneys admitted that he has a propensity for violence.
Right.
That he is violent.
And how, very quickly, how will today's criminal court verdict affect your civil litigation, if at all?
Well, probably not much, maybe in the court of public opinion somewhat, but because we have a lower burden of proof in a civil case, we only have to prove it by this much evidence, preponderance of the evidence, which is a lot less than the burden up there beyond a reasonable doubt. They've tried to dismiss our cases. They've been unsuccessful. We are litigating. We're going to be heavily going into discovery. We are going to be looking, for everything and anything that will help to prove our client's case, and we will proceed.
Gloria Allred, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, Elizabeth. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.